Still off. Did you want it on? Oh, now it's on. Good. Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for attending this press conference. Today we'll be hearing from our Chief Constable Dean Duthie of the Saanich Police Department, followed by Corporal Alex Berube of the BC RCMP. Both have prepared statements to read to you this afternoon. Chief?
Hello everyone, and thank you once again for coming out to be here today. Before I provide you all with an update, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you and your media teams for your professionalism, understanding, compassion, and patience. I respect the vital importance of your jobs as keeping our public and communities well beyond our local, provincial, and national borders informed. This is critical to ensure transparency, trust, and confidence. Many of you have reached out to our Public Information and Communications Officer simply to offer your support to our injured officers and the wellness of all of our staff throughout the organization. I'm very grateful for this, as it demonstrates your genuine care, concern, and empathy. Thank you very much. It is important to me that I also continue to acknowledge and recognize and express my sincere thanks and appreciation to additional external partners who I've not yet mentioned in previous press conferences. ECOM staff, call takers, and dispatchers. This dedicated, committed, and professional team managed the 911 emergency calls that came in for this event. You and I can only imagine the nature of incoming calls, the terror and emotion that is weaved throughout these calls requires strong and rapid communication skills, organization, and processing of information. In addition, the dispatchers who had direct contact and communication with our frontline officers throughout the incident maintained professional composure to ensure that they were highly responsive to the needs of our officers on the road and at the scene. My heart goes out to you. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and we thank you for your service. I received a call today from the President of the Bank of Montreal, BMO. That call came in this morning. Mr. Darrell White called me from the UK to express his sincere thanks and appreciation to the Saanich Police Department and the Greater Victoria Emergency Response Team for our response and actions. He and his leadership team want all police who are involved in this incident to know that they support us and want us to heal and will help us in any way they can. I was very moved by this conversation, but I was sure to let Mr. White know that we are also thinking about his staff at BMO. They experienced an incident that will never be forgotten and likely often replayed in their minds over and over again. To all BMO staff and all BMO customers who were there that day, please know that the Saanich Police Department is thinking about you from our hearts, and we hope that you have the support you need to process what you've experienced and move forward in a healthy way. I'd like to also extend my thanks to the surrounding neighbors and residents and businesses in the area of the crime scene. I know that your lives have been significantly disrupted with road closures and 24/7 scene security. Your understanding, patience, and support is so greatly appreciated by me, the senior leadership team, and all investigators who are working so very hard to examine and process the scene. Following yesterday's briefing, I had the opportunity to connect with the VIMQ investigative team to determine what additional details might be able to be shared with the public about the events of the day. While the specific details of the event will be limited, I am pleased to be able to share the following information. At 11 8:02 a.m. on Tuesday, June 28th, the SPD received a report that 2 armed suspects had entered the Bank of Montreal in the 3600 block of Shelburne Street in Saanich. Given high-risk nature of the initial report, officers from the Saanich Police Department Patrol Division, Traffic Safety Unit, Community Engagement Division responded immediately to the call. In addition, frontline officers from the Victoria Police Department, Integrated K-9 Unit, and the CRD Integrated Road Safety Unit also made their way to assist. As mentioned in yesterday's briefing, the Greater Victoria Emergency Response Team was deployed in an operation on an entirely separate and unrelated investigation, and as timing would have it, they were in the vicinity of the bank when the call came in. Given the high risk, critical, and high priority nature of this report, GVERT immediately redeployed to the bank. In the interest of preserving the integrity of the VIMQ and IAO concurrent investigations, I'm unable to share specific details about the events that unfolded at the bank. However, I am able to provide you with this information. Police were on scene when the 2 suspects exited the bank armed with firearms. Some GVERT officers arrived on scene in a white panel van that remains located in the crime scene at the main entrance to the Bank of Montreal. Multiple officers confronted the armed suspects. In the exchange of gunfire, both subjects were killed and 6 police officers were injured. Immediately following the confrontation, our officers began providing emergency first aid to their injured colleagues. For the past several years, the Saanich Police Department, the Victoria Police Department, and the Greater Victoria Emergency Response Team have had the privilege of working with Dr. Mark Vu as our contracted medical director. Under his leadership and guidance, and with the support of our police instructors, our organizations have implemented a robust tactical emergency casualty care program to provide life-saving medical interventions in situations just like this. Our officers did an outstanding job attending to serious and critical gunshot wounds at the scene to their colleagues before officers were transported by BC Ambulance Services to both Victoria General Hospital and the Royal Jubilee Hospital, where they received extraordinary care. The training and equipment provided by this program, in addition to the decisive action taken by our officers at the scene, saved the lives of at least 3 police officers. I could not be more moved to my core or more grateful for their actions under the most demanding of circumstances. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who was involved in this. As previously mentioned, 3 officers were provided with emergency treatment at hospital and subsequently released into the care of their families and loved ones. 3 officers sustained life-threatening injuries that required surgery, and they remain in hospital at this time. We do not have any additional details to share right now about their condition as of today. On behalf of our injured officers, their family, friends, and everyone in the police community, we thank everyone for their warm wishes, thoughts, and prayers for their full recovery. The Vancouver Island Integrated Major Crime Unit has conducted this ongoing serious crime investigation, and I cannot speak highly enough about their professionalism and dedication. Investigators continue to process the large public crime scene to gather all evidence relevant to the VIMQ and IAO investigations. This takes considerable time and resources to complete, and again, we appreciate the community's support, understanding, and patience as this process continues. I would like to also recognize and thank the Saanich Police Detective Division, Many investigators have been working very hard with VIMQ. I know that investigations of this magnitude and complexity take a toll on each of them. Which each investigator is doing is making a real and meaningful difference, and I truly thank them. In closing, I would again like to recognize each and every sworn and civilian member of the Saanich Police Department. Your courage, resilience, care and support for everyone and each other truly inspires me and motivates me and the senior leadership team to keep pushing forward. As you know, I and the senior leadership team are here for you now and every step of this journey. That said, over the past 2 days, it has become abundantly clear to me and to the team that you are here for us as well. We feel your individual and collective support in our hearts, and we thank you. I recognize that everyone is hurting right now and processing what has happened. Watching many of you report for duty, whether it's in uniform or plain clothes, it reassures me and the senior leadership team, our police board, our municipality, and our community that you are heroes and you are committed to keeping Saanich safe. Thank you. I'll now turn the podium over to Corporal Alex Berube.
Thank you, sir. The Vancouver Island Integrated Major Crime Unit investigation continues to progress. We can confirm at this time that we are working with the BC Coroner Service in order to positively identify the 2 male suspects. Once that is complete, our first priority will be to speak with the next of kin, and then we'll be moving forward on determining more about them. I mean, their backgrounds, who they are, their histories, and how that may relate to what took place. Numerous witnesses have been interviewed. However, we still have many more interviews to conduct. We also continue to canvass the neighborhood and gather both physical and digital evidence from the scene and surrounding area. We would like to thank the numerous individuals and businesses who have already met with and worked with investigators with respect to information and videos. A number of firearms have been recovered at the site. The fulsome assessment and analysis of the firearms used during the exchange with police is underway, and we are mindful that while it's important to the VIMQ investigation, it is also being looked at by the IIO and their concurrent investigation. Therefore, there is nothing further we can say with respect to the firearms. However, I can say that multiple units and personnel that specialize in dealing with and identifying firearms are being involved. As the scene was being assessed yesterday, a vehicle we now believe is associated with the suspects was found to have multiple improvised explosive devices in it. The RCMP Provincial Explosive Disposal Unit was called in to further assess the devices. The EDU was able to assess them prior to be handled, safely transfer them to a container, and then ultimately take them to another site where they were safely destroyed. It's fair to describe what EDU dealt with as a highly volatile and dangerous situation. We're not in a position to provide additional specifics at this time. There is significant work underway to look further at those devices, and providing specifics at this time could impact those efforts. With respect to the suspect vehicle, it is described as a white 1992 Toyota Camry, 4-door with 2 black racing stripes over the hood and roof. Again, I'll describe it. It is a white 1992 Toyota Camry, 4-door with 2 black racing stripes over the hood and the roof.
We're asking anyone with information about this vehicle or its movement a week prior to Tuesday to contact the VMQ line at 250-380-6211. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for coming this afternoon. That concludes our press conference. And that's it. All the information that they had prepared today has been released. We understand that the public had many questions. The media had questions yesterday about the many that we could not answer, and we hope that our goal today was to provide those answers to you. Yeah, that's a great question. Again, it's a very fluid, ongoing investigation, and as soon as we have more information, we'll either hold a press conference or release information. Okay, thank you very much. Because we had many questions yesterday, so we went back and contacted the Major Crime Unit to determine what we could answer that would keep the integrity of the investigation intact. So, thank you. Okay, thank you very much.